Hello everybody, in this video I want to talk to you about the unit organizer routine. This is a thing that's been around since the 90s, and you could see there's a book published by the University of Kansas. Kind of does the research with this, and it comes from this concept of the strategic instruction model. So if you want to look more into that, you can kind of Google these things and look into it. But basically what you find is that when teachers use this unit organizer routine, that they get a lot of good results. So including an average of 15 percentage points higher on unit tests, and that it tends to affect low achieving, middle achieving, and students with learning disabilities the most. And then of course over here on the left you have the Hattie check. Remember, 0.4 on a Hattie check is a standard year's growth, so you can see that having these types of things really does a lot. So let me just show you an example of what one of these looks like. I made this one on Google Slides. This is like a high school U.S. history class on like the 1960s and 70s social changes. So I kind of quick put it together. It's maybe not perfect by any means, but it kind of gives you an idea of what one could look like. You could set it up however you want, but there are some typical things that you find in these. You typically have sort of along the top like a continuity here, so like where we were, where we are, and where we're going next. And then maybe some sort of an essential question somewhere in here. Some people call these self-test questions, a schedule of events, things they need to know. Sometimes they have vocabulary or people or things that you're likely to see on assessments. Sometimes you might put over here equations that students need to know, or maybe just some different types of measurements or data that are used a lot in the unit. And then you kind of have a graphic organizer of the unit itself with some actions that the students should be able to do within these parts of the unit. And then down here I decided to include, let me get rid of this. I decided to include the assignments or the tasks that the students were going to have to do as well. So the students have a list when they get this. They have a list of pretty much what you expect the schedule to be. Of course, you can always change that or have them write and cross and move around or whatever on there. And then you have down here sort of what they're going to be turning in during this, where their points are going to come from. And then main ideas they need to know, questions they need to be able to ask or answer, and then sort of an essential question. So really what this is it just lets the students have a pretty good idea of where they're going, what they're doing, and it helps them to map in their brain the relationships between the different units you've already done and what's going on inside the unit. And like I said, it seems simple, but all the research on it shows that it's really quite powerful. Let me show you how you make one. It's really not hard at all. So I've got just a presentation over here that in Google Slides that I haven't done anything with. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete everything out of here. If I want to print this as paper, I want to go over here to File, Page Setup, Custom. So instead of widescreen, I'm going to go to Custom, and I'm going to turn this into 8.5 by 11. Now this is paper size, so if I want to print it, I could print it on paper. I can also do it if I want it to be like landscape. Oops. You do 11 by 8.5, which is what I'm going to do. So now it's landscape. And then all I want to do in here is I want to just start plotting in things. In this little area, the shapes area right here, is probably going to be kind of like your most used area. So I'm going to put in maybe my top pieces that show where we've been, where we're going. So I'm just going to plop that in there. And if you double click on that, it'll open up a cursor for you to type. So you might say next. I don't know. XYZ unit, and then you could do the same on the other side. You can make if you use circles to make your area down here for, like your graphic organizer for the unit, you can make circles. or squares or whatever using this, and then you want to connect those. It has kind of a cool feature here. If you hit the arrow, so I'm down here in line, hit arrow, you'll notice that it gives you these purple, as soon as I go over it, it gives you these nice little purple spots. Those are places where arrows can start, and then arrows will connect. And then you'll notice that if I have to drag or move this, the arrow stays connected to it, which is kind of cool, so you can adjust it. You might also notice that that arrow looks kind of weak. It's not very good. You just go over here. You see what different options you have for the inlines, but you can also turn this line weight up, and you can see that now the arrow is a little bit more visible. So I highlighted the arrow, and I used the line weight, and I changed it. If it's not something you're going to print, if it's something you're just going to use as a slideshow, you could also change colors or do different things in here to make that look better. I also, on the edges, I put in like what we plan to do. If I don't want this to be gray, I hit this little box here and I make it transparent or white or whatever color I want, and then I type in there. If I want it to start at the top instead of start from the middle and fill out, I go over here to align, I hit this up arrow so it'll start at the top, and I just I put all my stuff in there that I want it to have. So you can see how using slides with the shapes makes it a lot easier. If you were to try to do this on docs, it would be terrible to try to do, and it would try to format and it would make a mess of everything. So using slides is a nice way. And then because I changed this to the 8.5 by 11, you'll see that instead of trying to print the slides like it normally does, it prints it just as a page. So you can do that. Pretty cool, pretty easy way to do that. And you can change this to different settings and stuff too if you want to. However, I would suggest just leaving it. This one I just left as the 16 by 9 that it automatically comes with, because for me, the way I would probably use this is that I would put this, on my screen. And when you put this on the screen, it's going to look nice and like full page like this, so that students would be able to see that, as a whole thing. If I use the changed aspect ratio and I present it, as you can see, it doesn't fit exactly the screen. And so when you put this on your projector or whatever, it's going to look a little odd. So that's why in this case I didn't change it. I had no intention of printing this, so I didn't change it to a different aspect ratio. In the next video I want to make about this, I will show you how to really kind of spruce this up and put links inside of here and turn this into not only a unit organizer but a hyperdoc connecting to Google Classroom, your slideshows, videos you want students to watch, all kinds of things like that. So this video really just how you make one and what it does and why it's been proven through research to be quite helpful. In the next one I want to show you kind of how to take it to a whole nother level and really make it interactive. Thank you.